How do you adapt during times of difficulty? Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Future in 5. My name is Jacob Morgan. This is where I share thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work in 5 minutes or less. Before I get into this week's topic, I have to say thank you to Staples. So they are the sponsor for this month for content that I'm doing on the future of work. So I'll just give you a quick little blurb about what they're doing. This is actually brought to you by the Staples Business Advantage portion of Staples, which is their B2B division of Staples. And they're doing a really cool contest, actually, where if you enter to win, they are giving up to $40,000, I believe, to redesign your break room. So it's a break room makeover contest. If you go to staplesbreakroomcontest.com, you can sign up and be eligible to win until June 6th. Also, in a couple of weeks, I'll be announcing a study that I teamed up with Staples on around the future of work in the workplace. But you'll stay tuned for that. That's coming in a couple of weeks. So how do you adapt during times of difficulty? I recently gave a keynote at a talk in Malaysia, and one of the attendees raised their hand and said, everything that you're talking about is great. It all sounds wonderful. And it's pretty easy to do that stuff when things are going great at your company, but what happens if things aren't going that well? How do you start to, innovate, and how do you start to change and, get all these forward-thinking ideas and implement them? Which is a great question, right? I mean, things are always easy when it's wonderful, but when things aren't going so well, what do you do? And I think there are two things that organizations can do to focus on adapting and changing when things aren't going well. So the first one, which probably popped into your head right when I asked the question, is don't wait for things to be going poorly before you decide to change. In fact, the best time to adapt isn't when things start to go downhill, but when things start to go uphill. So when things are so wonderful and rosy and perfect at your company, that's when you have to start to change and adapt and try to think of different business models and try to disrupt yourself. So don't wait for things to, for trouble to start. Don't wait for problems to arise before you start to say, oh, we got to start doing things differently. Do it at the point where things are going so well for your company that they've never been better. That's when you got to disrupt yourself. I think the second thing that you can do is be as transparent as you can with your people. I'll give you a good example. So Spiceworks is the world's largest IT community that's out there. And a lot of their revenue is dependent upon advertising. And so what happened is, advertising started going downhill, and employees at the company started to wonder what's going to happen to Spiceworks. Are they at risk of losing their jobs? What's going to happen? And so Scott, he's one of the founders of the company. I think it's every week or every month, he does something called Slices with Scott, where he orders pizza for the entire company. I think it's around 400 or 500 people. They sit in a giant town hall area, and employees are able to ask him any question that they want. So they will raise their hand and say, hey, Scott, we notice advertising revenue is going down. What does that mean for our business? Should we be worried? What's going on? What are you thinking? And so he will be as transparent as he can with his people around what's going on with the business, what the future is going to look like, etc. And I think that approach makes a lot of sense for organizations. So when things aren't going well, two things that you should do. Number one, be as transparent as you can with your people. Let them know in advance that things might not be going well. Don't wait for things to be kind of plummeting before you say, oh, hey, by the way, things aren't going well. You're not going to have a job in 2 weeks. So be as transparent as you can, as early as you can. And number two is don't wait for things and for problems to arise before you start to think of innovation and before you start to think of change. Think about it when things are perfect, when things are wonderful. I think that is a great way to deal with change when it might not be going that well. Curious to hear what you think. Do you have any other tips that you would provide? Leave me a comment below in the YouTube channel, or you can send me an email, jacob@thefutureorganization.com, if you're interested in sponsoring a series of content. If you work for a large organization, make sure to visit fowcommunity.com. That's the Future of Work community, where you can connect with other leaders at global organizations that are exploring what the future of work is going to look like. If you want to get access to the newsletter, you can visit thefutureorganization.com /newsletter, or you can text the word future to the number 44222. Again, that's the number 44222, and the word is future there. And last but not least, a big thanks to the folks over at Staples Business Advantage. Again, that's the B2B version of Staples. If you're interested in entering their contest to get a break room makeover up to $40,000, the URL is Staples Break Room Contest. Make sure I got that right. StaplesBreakRoomContest.com. Yep, that's the URL. Check it out. Enter to win. And I'll see you guys next time on an episode of The Future in 5. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.